What's up everyone, and welcome to Jayconomics. My name is Jay and it's a pleasure to meet all of you. On this channel, we take a look at anything related to finance with a strong focus on investing. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, then please consider subscribing and liking this video to help me on my quest to befriend the big, bad YouTube algorithm. You asked for it, and I got it for you. It's time for a Hyliion update. So what caused the big pop and why now? We'll look at one big news story, institutional buys, any new SEC filings, possible price targets post-merger, possible risk factors with Hyliion, and we will also revisit both the common stock and the warrants to see how things are playing out right now and which one you should buy. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Our good old turtle shell is almost ready to evolve into Hyliion. The transaction is expected to be finalized in this quarter, and my research seems to indicate that it will be around mid-September, and I'll tell you why I came to this conclusion. When it does officially merge, the ticker symbol will change from shell to HYLN. Now, the volatility for SPACs has been no secret, and Shell has not been immune to it. In fact, we had seen a downwards trend since late June, and it had consolidated around the $19-20 range for a while. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, we saw an explosion in share price. On Friday, it went up another 11.5% and closed just under $30. So let's find out why this could be. Let's take a look at the institutional buys around the dates where the stock popped off. As you can see here, there was a heavy uptick in significant buys on August 13th, August 14th, and again on August 17th, when we saw another big jump in the stock price. Notable buys, as you can see here, included Falcon Edge Capital buying over 1 million shares, among others. All these large buys are great signs of confidence in Hyliion not only completing the merger, but also as a long-term hold. Now let's take a look at the 1-month chart. So we were trading at around $19 when August began, and after a few spurts, we now sit at around $30. Now stocks with a lot of hype usually trade higher on increased volume, and that's exactly what we see here with Shell. The MACD showed us a clear buy signal right there a few days ago, and now, well, we're still over zero, so it's still a bullish sign. So looking at the RSI now, it's showing slightly overbought in relation to current price levels, but the trend does remain bullish, and with big catalysts coming up, I expect it to stay that way. Now let's take a look at possible catalysts shllstock had that led to these spurts. One big piece of news came out this week about Hyliion, which is kind of flying a little bit under the radar. And that's the agreement Hyliion and Dana have made with Idealease to show off Hyliion's hybrid diesel powertrain to Idealease customers as part of a national program. For those who have never heard of Idealease, the company is North America's premier full-service commercial truck leasing, rental, and maintenance company. In addition, during these short-term rentals, Idealease's customers will have the chance to test out Hyliion's solution and see how they like it. If all goes well, this could turn out to be huge for Hyliion in terms of both exposure and revenue. This is what Idealease's CEO had to say about the agreement. And I quote, "Idealease is committed to equipping our customers with the world's leading technology that reduces operating costs while reinforcing our commitment to building a more sustainable commercial transportation industry. With Hyliion's hybrid system, we expect to see great results in fuel efficiency, vehicle performance, cost savings, and emissions reductions, all of which are critical decision factors for our customers." If we read between the lines here, the CEO has high expectations with this partnership and believes that their customers will love Hyliion's products. Of course, this is just an opinion, but it's still a great sign nonetheless. Now here's yet another piece of important information I was able to dig up in this 300+ page filing, and this information I think could have been one of the catalysts to explain the huge jump we have seen. If we look at this here, the probability of the next financing event has jumped from 70% to 95%, a sign that indicates that the merger is almost a sure thing now. And look right under there. The timing of this event is scheduled to be between September 14th and September 30th. Now, we knew that the merger was supposed to happen in Q3, but we didn't know when. And since we hadn't had news in a long time with Hyliion, we had no idea if everything was even still on track for the merger, which might explain why the stock dropped off so much. Now, it's not a confirmation, but usually 2 + 2 is equal to 4, so my best guess would be that the merger will be finalized sometime between the 14th and the 30th of next month. By the way guys, if you're enjoying this video and appreciating the content so far, please make that like button turn blue and subscribe to support my work. It really does help. Thank you. Also, if you want to see my full Hyliion company analysis video, it's linked in the right corner right now, and it's also linked in the description below. Now, I do want to go over a few risk factors that Hyliion does face when it comes to long-term execution. And factor number one would be the dependency on the CEO, Thomas Healy. So Hyliion is basically Thomas Healy's baby. He's the CEO, he's the largest stockholder, and is the source of many, if not most of the ideas and execution that drives Hyliion. If he leaves for whatever reason, Hyliion would be greatly affected in a negative way. It wouldn't be Elon leaving Tesla, but it would be detrimental to the company moving forward. Of course, anything unexpected could happen, but in terms of what is known, Thomas is heavily invested into the company long term and wants to guide his baby into adulthood, so to speak. Risk factor number two would be Hyliion's dependency on its suppliers for parts. So if you guys didn't know, Hyliion does get many of its components it needs to build their powertrains from third-party suppliers, like Dana, for example. So if anything happens to their business relationships for whatever reason, this would of course negatively impact Hyliion. And risk factor number three that I want to mention is protecting intellectual property and filing patents. So Hyliion will need to make sure that they are protecting their intellectual property, and they must continuously file patents. If they fail to do this, it will open the door for competitors to offer similar products and claim market share from them. Thomas Healy has stated in interviews that he is filing all the patents needed as they go, so this is one that isn't too worrisome, but they need to remain on the ball. Now, if we look at valuation, if we compare other players in the sector, we see that the current market cap of Tesla is around $382 billion after their insane run-up. Nikola's market cap is around $15 billion, and Hyliion's implied market cap of the combined company with Shell is over $4.5 billion at current levels. Another thing I want to mention here that people may be overlooking is that Hyliion is burning cash at a very slow pace, and add in the fact that they will be getting $560 million from Tortoise when the merger is finalized, this should support Hyliion's operations for a while. And a few other nuggets of information. 9% of California's new commercial trucks will need to be electrified by 2024, and that's right around the corner, so things will need to ramp up in the next few years. Projected revenue for Hyliion is based on a variety of operational assumptions, including the number of hybrid electric trucks and Hypertruck ERX trucks produced and sold and the average selling price per truck. As we see here, based on these assumptions, Hyliion does expect to grow their revenue exponentially over the next 4 years. Alright, what am I doing, and has my bull thesis changed? Short answer, no. I'm extremely confident in what Hyliion can do long term, and also bullish on what the stock will do in the short term. If you want to hear my full thoughts on Hyliion, a full explanation of Shell warrants versus common shares, please feel free to check out that informative video linked at the top of the screen now. The link is also in the description. In terms of my position, I currently own 367 warrants at an average cost of $7.46 and 125 shares at an average cost of $22.71. Now, I'm pretty happy with my position sizing and cost basis right now, but who knows? I may add to this position still if I feel like it. We'll see. But I will keep you guys updated on this. Hyliion is just one of those stocks that both long-term investors and swing traders could benefit greatly from. Finally, let's discuss possible price targets. Although Hyliion is clearly not Nikola and should not be treated as such, people have been speculating tons of price targets from $35 all the way up to over $100 because of what happened with Nikola. Personally, I do think FOMO will get the best of retail investors once again. If we see a quick 20% pop on merger day pre-market, then I would expect retail investors to equate this to Nikola and start to pile on. The one thing about this stock we have to be careful about though is that it just seems too easy right now. Not a lot of people are saying this, but everyone is just expecting the price to skyrocket 3x, 4x plus. And that assumption is dangerous. All that being said, I still do think we'll see the $75 to $85 range briefly for Hyliion, and would expect the price to come crashing back down to around the $60 range. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, this is just what my gut tells me, and this is not something anyone can predict accurately, so don't bet your house on this. Point is, if you buy now though, no, it is not too late to get in. There is still lots of upwards movement to go, in my opinion. In terms of what to buy, warrants or shares, well, that really is your call. At this point in time, you are getting what I believe to be a great deal on the warrants. Not only are you spending less for the right to buy almost triple the amount of shares at the current common stock and warrant prices, but you're also setting yourself up for greater gains if the merger does finalize with no issues. I won't go into too much detail about why that is in this video, but please do check out my Shell warrant video if you do need clarification on anything regarding this. And I'll leave you with Thomas Healy telling us why Hyliion chose to go the SPAC route.
Yeah, so earlier this year, we had kicked off kind of our financing process, right? We knew we were going to go out and do the next round. We looked at keeping it public or going public, keeping it private. We decided that going the public path made the most sense. And then as we looked at kind of the conventional IPO path versus the SPAC path, the SPAC path had a lot of benefits. It was a faster process. We met with the Tortoise team just before COVID lockdown really happened. And there's a lot of synergies there. The team had viewed a lot of the kind of problems of moving towards electric the same way. The opportunities of leveraging existing fueling stations and leveraging natural gas and renewable natural gas is kind of one of these things that a lot of people don't know about, right? It's a great fuel source that's fantastic for our environment, but it's not spoken about all that much. And so we saw a lot of synergies on that side, and we saw it as a way where we could do this transaction and fully fund our business model, right? That was one of the big benefits of it. With the capital that we're bringing in, it puts us in a position where we don't have to go out and raise additional cash in order to fulfill this business model.
Come on, how could you not like that guy? He's so humble and he really knows what he's talking about. He seems very passionate about what he's doing, and he seems very invested into Hyliion. Now, you also heard him say that funding will not be a problem to achieve the company's goals. Alright guys, that wraps it up for today's episode. Let me know in the comments below if you're invested into Hyliion. Do you have shares, warrants, options? What is your position sizing? And what is your strategy after the merger? Are you holding, selling, maybe selling half? I would love to know what you're all up to with this exciting new SPAC. And if you made it all the way to this point in the video, thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe if this video brought any value to you, and let's grow this community together. Until next time, take care and invest smart.